G'day guys, it's Andrew from Australian Gear Addict, and I wanted to touch on the topic of ponchos and just kind of extend on I guess alternatives in the middle to heavy gauge ponchos. So just a bit of history before I sort of get into this over here. Obviously people are aware that there are many types of ponchos out in the market, going from the kind of lightweight ripstop ponchos all the way to the military ones. So they're very, very different in regards to their pros and cons. Just kind of touching on the lightweight ponchos, so the stuff that's made out of ripstop material. I mean, it's great in the sense that it's quite light and it's weighs about 300 grams, so it's quite a lightweight product. But it's really kind of not designed for walking around in kind of heavy torrential downpour or in the bush. So when you kind of put that product in that environment, i.e. in heavy rains, it sort of kind of functions a little like kind of glad wrap, so it creates a real sweat box. But look, if you're in a rainy environment, mountaineering or whatever it is, and you're only getting exposed to, half an hour's worth of rain, it certainly serves that purpose particularly well. And I think that's the big difference between the kind of heavier gauge materials generally and that lightweight stuff, because the heavier gauge materials can kind of sit off you a little bit more, so it kind of provides your body with a little bit more kind of breathing space. So before I dive into these two versions or military style ponchos, I'll just touch on the USGI style ponchos and why they're so popular with survivalists and so forth. So as you may be aware, the military poncho was something that was designed in the 1960s for the Vietnam War. Arguably, it's one of the best pieces of the kits that sort of come out from that, and the reason being is that it's pretty bulletproof. It's absolutely 100% waterproof, and you can use it for a range of functions. So, i.e., you can use it for a tarp. You can use it as a ground sheet, you can use it as a hammock, you can use it as a floating device, and on it goes. So it's pretty good stuff. The only sort of downfall about that sort of original design, in my opinion, is that it doesn't have sort of kind of, some basic things like a rain beak on the hood. So, if it does rain pretty heavily, you get a face full of water, which is not very nice. Obviously, very easily resolved by having a cap. But then your beaky cap gets wet, so I'm not sure why they haven't sort of improved that design from there. But if you're looking at military ponchos on the market, you'll find that a lot of them these days will have beaks, so that's good news. But anyway, I'm digressing a little bit. Let's get back onto these two things over here. So what you're seeing over here is a USGI styled military poncho. The genuine military poncho basically is roughly about 600 grams. These particular items over here are a little bit lighter at about 500 grams. But the materials themselves are absolutely bulletproof, absolutely solid. This one's over here. You can use as a tarp or a hammock. I've already done a review on this, so if you want to check it out, just click here. But the purpose of this discussion is for those people who want that sort of medium to heavy gauge ponchos, but don't necessarily want one to serve all those functions and maybe want ones to save just a little bit of weight. This is actually slightly lighter than this, but not by much. So here it is. So, if you're not going to use a poncho as a tarp or a hammock, this might be potentially the product for you. So this product, it comes from China, like everything does these days, and it's made out of 600 denier nylon ripstop. So this is pretty solid material. So if I just pop down here and I'll show you this, I'll just grab a section over here, and if I pull this tight like that, you can see that I can put a bit of force on that, and that's, it won't rip at all. So pretty solid material. It's definitely something that's going to last you for a very, very long time. Now, if you want to look at the top of this over here, the nice thing about it is it's actually got a pretty generous beak to it. So if we have sort of kind of a look at that, that's not going to just cover your head. It'll cover it a little bit more. But always nice to wear a cap underneath that. In regards to the material, as I said, it's pretty heavy duty. It's pretty waterproof. The product has been seamed, sealed with some tape over here. as you can see. And in regards to this over here, guys, this is actually a burgundy type colour. It's not really pink. It's sort of kind of showing up a little bit pinkish in the video, but that's not really a true reflection of the colour itself. It's more of a burgundy colour. So just to let you know. Like most ponchos, comes with a cinch you can tie up. Obviously, it opens up over here, so you can get some air control through here. And as you can tell over here, the quality of the actual stitching isn't too bad considering the price point. Now, the nice thing about this particular poncho, that it is form-fitting. So as you can see over here, it does curve with your body. So what that means is that if you're walking through some heavy scrub, or if you've got a lot of rain sort of going down sideways, it is going to bead a little bit better. So that's the nice thing about this particular style of more form-fitting ponchos. Now, the disadvantage of the form-fitting ponchos is, unlike these ones over here, there's not going to be a lot of room in the back of it. So you can't really, as an example, cover a huge pack as you might with a military style poncho, but you can certainly cover a small bag. Sort of anything from probably 20 to 30 litres as a small backpack goes would probably be okay. At the front of this particular poncho, you will notice that there's a little bit of form sort of kind of fitting stuff on the side over here, but the designers have very cleverly actually shortened the back of the actual poncho itself. So this is the front over here, and as you can see, it's a little bit longer than the back. So if I pull that back over there like that, yeah, so it's shorter at the back, and the reason why it's shorter at the back is that when you're in a kind of torrential rain or downpour situation, the last thing you want is basically a bit of flappy materials kind of slapping at the back of your calves. Not a very nice experience, but if you're wearing a big pack on a military poncho, that's kind of being lifted on the back anyway. But because obviously you can't carry a big pack that'll shift the back of that material up, that's a kind of good little design inclusion in there. So just in regards to weight, as I said before, this is roughly about 500 grams. Very similar to the other sides over here. Comes in a nice little flat pack, nice and thin, just like that. Fits easily under your car. You can put it in your backpack. If you wanted to roll it up, you can. It's pretty easy. It certainly tightens down pretty quickly. So if I'll just show you that there. So like that, and just to give you some idea in regards to size, so that's a US bum bag, so it fits in there very, very easily. You can probably chuck 2 or 3 in there without too much trouble. So guys, there we are, just a bit of commentary on some ponchos, some poncho alternatives. If you like the video, press like, hit subscribe. If you're interested in getting either of these ponchos, they are in our official support store. Feel free to